Hello everyone, this is Steve Risser from Sports Talk with RKJ, here today with your AFC East preview. First, do a quick overview of the division from last year. The Patriots, who won the division at 11-5 last year, in mid-December it looked like they were not going to get back to the Super Bowl for the third year in a row, but they were able to get their running game going with Sonny Michel. Their defense was starting to play better, and they were able to beat the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Rams in Super Bowl 53 to win their sixth Super Bowl. At the beginning of the year, it looked like the Dolphins might win the division starting 3-0, but they lost to the Patriots in Week 4 and then ended up losing 8 of their last 12 games to finish 7-9, which resulted with the team and Adam Gase parting ways and them trading Ryan Tannehill. The Bills took a step back after making the playoffs for the first time in 18 years in 2017. They finished 6-10 under rookie quarterback Josh Allen, and the Jets finished in last place with rookie quarterback Sam Darnold. They ended up finishing 4-12, and that resulted in Todd Bowles being fired. First, we'll start with the defending champions, the Patriots, and I personally think they're not the favorite in the AFC this year. I think the Colts and Chiefs are better because I think Andrew Luck and Patrick Mahomes will have better years. If you look at it, Patrick Mahomes did have a better year than Tom Brady and outplayed Tom Brady in the AFC Championship game last year, but I still think the Patriots are going to be really good, and I still think they're going to win this division. And I think a big part of their success this year, especially on offense, is going to be that running game. I think that running game with Sonny Michel, the way he ran the ball in the playoffs. You have James White. You drafted Damian Harris in the third round. So this running game, and then you got the best fullback in the league you're running behind in James Devlin. So this running game is going to be very, very crucial for the Patriots this year. The receiving core could be a little bit weak. Edelman is back. He had an outstanding Super Bowl, a good year last year. They got Dorsett, who's a below-average receiver. He's not that. I mean, Brady makes him better than he is. And then N'Keal Harry. I think this guy could be really good. He doesn't have a lot of speed, but I like his size. His 6'4" frame. I think he's going to be able to be really good getting jump balls. I think N'Keal Harry could be really good for this Patriots team. Also, they did sign Ben Watson to replace Rob Gronkowski. And a lot of people are making the big deal of Rob Gronkowski going. I don't think it's as big of a deal because last year he didn't have that good of a year. I mean, if you look at his numbers weren't that good. He's not that he did not have a great. He definitely declined last year, and I just don't think that's going to be as big of a loss as people think. Now, one of the biggest question marks for the Patriots going into the season is going to be the left tackle position. They didn't sign Trent Brown, who had 2 really good games in the divisional run against the Chargers and in the AFC Championship game against the Chiefs. And this is a big year for rookie Isaiah Wynn. For Isaiah Wynn, who in his rookie year he missed the entire season with an injury. This is a really, really big year for Isaiah Wynn. And then the rest of the 4 are pretty solid. You got Joe Thuney, you got Joe Thuney at left guard, David Andrews at center. Shaq Mason, one of the best guards in the league, playing right guard, and then you got Marcus Cannon at right tackle. So the 4 of the 5 spots are pretty solidified with the Patriots. It's just that left tackle spot that is going to be their big question, and that's big. I mean, you're protecting Tom Brady's blind side, and Brady's not a mobile quarterback, so that is going to be big. The play of Isaiah Wynn is, especially when there are going to be games where they can't get that running game going. The play of Isaiah Wynn is going to be very, very key this year. You look on the defense, the biggest question is going to be getting pressure on the quarterback. I mean, they did lose Trey Flowers in free agency to the Lions, but they did end up getting Michael Bennett. They ended up trading for Michael Bennett, and Michael Bennett actually had more sacks. Michael Bennett definitely isn't as good against the run, but he definitely had more sacks than Trey Flowers did last year. I mean, I think Bennett had 9.5 sacks. Flowers had about 7 sacks last year, but Michael Bennett is really going to help them getting pressure on the quarterback. Another very, very underrated player, and if you listen to Greg Bedard every Tuesday during the football season with Felger and Maz, you'll definitely know who this guy is. That's Lawrence Guy, and he had an excellent year against the run last year. Lawrence Guy was a really good run stuffer in this defense, very underrated player. The rest of the defense are question marks. I mean, you got Danny Shelton, the other tackle position, and that other defensive end position. That's going to be very, very crucial. I think one of the biggest keys is how is Belichick, now with Brian Flores gone, Belichick is going to be more involved with this defense. So how is he going to use those linebackers like he did? He did a great job in the playoffs using Kyle Van Noy and using Dante Hightower blitzing, because they're not really good cover line. They're not really good in coverage, but they can blitz. They can get to the quarterback, and that's going to be a big key for the Patriots because they don't have really good. They're outside of Bennett. They don't have good edge rushers. So if they can get pressure on the quarterback by blitzing, that's going to be a real key for the Patriots with Hightower and with Van Noy. Looking at the secondary, you got Devin McCourty, you got Jason McCourty back there, who's decent. And you got the best player on that defense. That's Stephon Gilmore. Stephon Gilmore had a great year last year for the Patriots back there. So that's why that secondary is pretty good. So the defense is good. It's a good defense. The offense is good. It's good. This is a solid football team. Yes, I don't think they're the favorite in the AFC, but I definitely think they're going to win this division. They're a solid team. They're definitely a contender. You cannot say the Patriots are a contender. They're definitely a contender this year. My record prediction for them is going to be 12-4. I think they go 12-4. I think they win the AFC East. I don't think they get back to the Super Bowl for the fourth year in a row. If they do, it'll be the first time since the '90s Bills for a team to reach the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. But so I don't think they reach the Super Bowl for the fourth year in a row. But I think they win the AFC East and they go 12-4. We'll head down to New York and talk about the Jets, and I'm really high on this team. I am. I really, really like the hire of Adam Gase. I think Adam Gase is really good with quarterbacks, and I think, because let's not forget, the Dolphins had a winning record with Ryan Tannehill when Adam Gase was the head coach. Yes, Tannehill missed a lot of games, but they had a winning record, 15-14, when Adam Gase was the coach. Last year, the Dolphins won 7 one-score games won 7 one-score games. They won 7 games, and 7 of them were one-score games. That's on coaching. If you can win a lot of close games, that's on coaching. That's why I like Adam Gase a lot, and I really like the second-year quarterback. As a Giants fan, I wish they took him with the number 2 overall pick, Sam Darnold. I wish they took Sam Darnold with that pick. And I think this is a huge year for Sam Darnold. This is the year he's got to step up, because I'd say the last 4 games of last year, he played better than any quarterback in this league. I mean, he had some really good. He had a really good game at the Bills. He had a really good game against the Texans. He had a really, really good game against the Packers in that shootout that went to overtime. And he didn't play that. I think the team kind of let him down that last game against the Patriots. But Darnold really showed a lot of upside at the end of the season last year. The wild card is going to be the addition of Le'Veon Bell. What Le'Veon Bell are you going to get? That's going to be so crucial for this team, what they're going to get out of Le'Veon Bell. If you can get Le'Veon Bell in Pittsburgh, and then you can get Sam Darnold improved, this offense could really, really be good. I mean, this offense could be really good. But and that's going to be the big question mark. You're really not sure what you're going to get out of Le'Veon Bell. And that's why there was dissension in the offseason between Mike Maccagnan and Adam Gase. Adam Gase didn't want to pay Le'Veon Bell all that money because he didn't know what he was going to get out of him. But Mike Maccagnan wanted the talented player. It ended up resulting in Maccagnan getting fired. And Gase, so this is a big year for Bell, because if he doesn't have a good year this year, he might be out of there. But it's definitely the wild card for the Jets is how well will Le'Veon Bell play. Also, if you look at the Jets receiving core, it's a little bit underrated. I mean, Robbie Anderson's a pretty good receiver. Jamison Crowder's decent, so is Quincy Enunwa. This is an underrated receiving core. So if they can get the run game going, they could to set up play action for Sam Darnold. This receiving core could be pretty good, and the Jets could be pretty. This offense could be really good with Gase, with Sam Darnold, with Le'Veon Bell. This offense could be pretty good. The biggest question mark for the Jets is the offensive line. I mean, their offensive line has not been good the last couple of years. It was a problem last year. Yes, Darnold's a mobile quarterback, so it's not as big of an issue as you would think. But this offensive line, they did trade for Osemele and they traded for Lewis, so they tried to improve it a little bit. But it's definitely a questionable offensive line with Beachum at left tackle, Harrison at center, and Shell at right tackle. So it's definitely a line that is questionable. It's going to be very questionable. Now we go to the defense, and here's the key. The thing about the Jet defense, which is weird, is the closer you get to the ball, the defense is really good. The farther you get away from the ball, the defense isn't as good. It's definitely not even close to as good. As you look at their defensive line, you got Leonard Williams, a really, really good really good 3-4 defensive end. They drafted Quentin Williams with the third pick overall. Henry Anderson had a pretty good year last year. You look at the inside linebackers; they're both pretty good. Avery Williamson is pretty good, and then obviously they picked up C.J. Mosley, which is a really, really big pickup. He's really good against the run. This is a really good pickup. This is a really good pickup for the Jets there. The issue is going to be is an edge rusher. They're not good on the edge getting a pass rusher. Copeland and Jenkins are not that good. That's going to be their issue. Is interior pressure they're fine, but getting pressure on the edge, that's going to be the Jets' biggest problem this year. Looking at the secondary, you get, the corners are the issue. Tremaine Johnson is overpaid. Brian Poole's not that good, but the safeties are pretty good. Marcus May is good, and then Jamal Adams is a great player. Jamal Adams is one of the top safeties in the game. I put him right up there. I put him right up there with Harrison Smith. I put him right up there with Derwin James. I put him right up there with those two safeties. He's a top 3 safety in this league. Had a really good year last year on a bad team. He could stop the run. He could cover. I think Jamal Adams, and he's a leader on that defense. Jamal Adams is a really, really good player for the Jets. Here's my thing, my prediction for the Jets. I feel like the Jets are very similar to what the Rams were 2 years ago. And let me go back to what the Rams were 2 years ago. 2016 with the Rams, they were 4-12. 2017, and that year they had a rookie quarterback, Jared Goff. And then they got an offensive-minded coach in 2017. They went 11-5, made the playoffs. The Chicago Bears in 2017, 5-11, had a rookie quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. Then Matt Nagy comes in, offensive-minded head coach, second-year quarterback. The team goes 12-4. They win the division. They make the playoffs. And even the Rams in 2017 won the division. So now you're seeing the trend here. Rookie quarterback picked in the top 5. Offensive-minded head coach Adam Gase, second year. They had a losing season, really bad season the first year. But I think the Jets, and this is why my prediction is they're going to go 10-6, and they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to be one of the wild cards. I see the trend with the Rams of 2 years ago, the Bears of last year. I think the Jets follow that trend. I think they make the playoffs, and they go 10-6. We'll now head up to Buffalo, and this is a really, really big year for two guys, Sean McDermott and Josh Allen. If Josh Allen doesn't improve from last year, Sean McDermott will not have a job in 2020. You can count on that. If the Bills aren't competing for the playoffs and they're struggling on offense, Sean McDermott will not have a job in 2020. They stripped this team down in the offseason. In 2018, they stripped this team down. They got rid of Tyrod Taylor. They stripped this team down and to make sure this is the year for Josh Allen to step up. And they put a lot of money into this. Yeah, they don't have a lot of great skill guys. They put a lot of money into this offense in the offseason. I mean, you look at the running back position. I think they could have a little bit of a three-headed monster here with LaShawn McCoy. Yes, he's nowhere near the player he used to be with Frank Gore, and then you got I think Devin Singletary, who they drafted out of Florida Atlantic, who was coached by Lane Kiffin. So this three-headed monster could be. That's what the Bills have to focus on. They got to be able to get the run game going. They got 3 guys that could do it. If all 3 could do it, then we'll see what they do in the offseason. They cut one of those running backs. They keep all 3 of those running backs. But that's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Now the Bills did go after 2 receivers. They were not great. They're not great players, but they're role players and they do certain things well. They got John Brown, who could be a really, really good deep ball threat for Josh Allen. Josh Allen is the thing about Josh Allen is he's not the most accurate quarterback, but the guy's got a cannon. The guy is really, really athletic. We all remember when he leaped over Anthony Barr last year in Week 3. So the guy's really athletic. So and you got John Brown as a good deep ball threat for him. So that could really help. That could really help. Josh Allen there. Obviously, you go out and get Cole Beasley, a pretty above-average slot receiver. Yes, I think quarterback. I think Tony Romo made him better in Dallas than he was. He was not as good in Dallas when he had Dak Prescott, but Cole Beasley, who's an above-average slot receiver, and obviously you got Zay Jones, who they got out of East Carolina a couple years ago. We look at the offensive line, and the Bills put a lot of money into this offensive line. Deion Dawkins at left tackle. He's the only remaining starter from last year. They got Quentin Spann, they got Mitch Morse, they got Spencer Long, and then they added they drafted Cody Ford out of Oklahoma in the second round. So I mean they put a lot into this offensive line. 4 of the 5 starters are different. So how is this group going to gel early in the season? That's going to be the biggest question for the Bills. That's gonna be a big question mark. The offensive line is still a question mark, even though they've tried to improve it. It's still a question mark. I think the receiving core is still a little bit of a question mark too. I still think the skill guys around Allen are still a question mark, even though they had a lot of cap space and they've done a lot and they made a lot of changes this offseason on the offensive side of the ball. We look to the defensive side of the ball, and I think that's the Bills' strength. That's the strength of this Bills team, especially against the pass. They got Trent Murphy, Jerry Hughes, and I think the biggest move is they went out and drafted Ed Oliver, who's going to be a really good 3 technique for this Bills team. I think he could have a really good year for the Bills. I think that was a really good pick for the Bills with the 9th overall pick. A player who has to really step up this year is Tremaine Edmonds, who they drafted with their first round pick in 2018. The Bills struggled last year against the run, and this guy really has to step up this year. He was only 20 years old last year. This is a big year for Tremaine Edmonds to make this a complete defense. If Tremaine Edmonds can step up, this definitely could be a top 10 defense in this league because I like their front 4. I like their secondary, but if Tremaine Edmonds could step up, this could definitely be a top 10 defense. When we look at the secondary, I really like Tre'Davious White, a good corner. They got Kevin Johnson from the Texans. I like the safeties too with Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde. So The biggest key to this defense is Tremaine Edmonds has got to step up in year 2. Big year 2 for Tremaine Edmonds. Looking at the record of this team, I'm going to go 7-9, and here's the reason why. I just don't love any of the skill guys on offense, and I just don't think Josh Allen is Sam Darnold. I think Josh Allen's a really good athlete. But I think the problem with him is he has accuracy issues and he doesn't make good decisions at times. And I think he's a great athlete, but obviously accuracy and decision making I think is what's going to hold him back from being at the level of Sam Darnold. I think this is a 7-9 team, and I just don't think. Like you look at the Jets, they went out and got Le'Veon Bell. Even though that's kind of a wild card, that still is a guy who's proven he could be an elite skill guy in this league. The problem with the Bills is even all the guys they got in the offseason, all the offensive linemen they got, and even even a couple of the guys they got, John Brown, Cole Beasley, and they went out and got Frank Gore. None of them are elite players who are real difference-making players. So I think this Bills team, I'm going to say 7-9, and the Bills will miss the playoffs this year. Lastly, we'll go on to the Dolphins. And here, when I'll start, we're talking about the Dolphins. It's their quarterback situation with Ryan Fitzpatrick and Josh Rosen. And if you're Brian Flores, there is no way possible you should be starting a 36-year-old journeyman, Ryan Fitzpatrick, over a guy you traded for in the offseason who was a first-round pick 2 years ago, a 22-year-old in Josh Rosen. Josh Rosen has got to be the starting quarterback for this team to have any chance. And yes, people are going to say, oh, look at what Fitzpatrick did the first 2 weeks of the season last year. There's no Mike Evans on this Dolphins offense. There's not even an Adam Humphries or an O.J. Howard on this Dolphins offense. So you're going to sit there and say, what did Fitzpatrick do the first 2 weeks of the season? If Fitzpatrick starts for the Dolphins, that team will be a complete disaster this year. And I mean, I think the Dolphins will be bad, but it'll be even worse if they start Ryan Fitzpatrick. You look at the run game, can Kenyon Drake be an every down back? That's definitely the big question because it was pretty much him and Frank Gore splitting carries last year. You look at the receiving core. You lost Danny Amendola. You got Devontae Parker. You got Kenny Stills. You got Bryce Butler. It's not a great receiving core at all. You look at the offensive line. That's a big question outside of Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil's a good player. Right? Laramie Tunsil is good, but the rest of the line, that's definitely a big question. It's probably one of the worst offensive lines in all of football. We go to the defense, and the defense is, I think, going to struggle again. I mean, I think the best part of it is the secondary, but the front seven is really, really weak. They lost Cameron Wake. They lost Robert Quinn. I mean, they did draft Jordan Wilkins in the first round, but then they have Charles Harris, who they drafted a couple years ago. But I think this front seven is really, really weak. The best player is probably Kiko Alonso, and he's an average linebacker at best. The strength of this Dolphins defense is definitely the secondary. Xavier Howard is one of the top corners in the league. You got Minka Fitzpatrick, who you drafted 2 years ago. Those are two really, really good pieces in the secondary. But the front seven is so bad where I think it's just going to be very, very hard for the secondary to be covered up. My prediction for the Dolphins is 4-12. I just think that I don't like the way they're going at quarterback. I wish they would start Josh Rosen to start the season. I don't like them starting Ryan Fitzpatrick. I think there's below-average weapons on this offense. I think it's the below-average offensive line. And I think the defense is below average too. I think people forget the job Adam Gase did with this team last year, winning 7 one-score games. I think it was 7-2 in one-score games. That's good coaching. And as the Dolphins as an organization, you cannot let a coach like that go. I think they're really going to regret getting rid of Adam Gase having parted ways with Adam Gase in the offseason because I think it was a really bad move, and I think the Jets are going to make that hurt. They're going to make it hurt for the Dolphins. I think Gase is going to really, really make the Dolphins regret that move. And I mean, yeah, they bring in Brian Flores, but we know the history of Belichick assistants. Outside of Bill O'Brien, it's not been good. I mean, Romeo Cornell struggled. Josh McDaniels struggled. Matt Patricia struggled in his first year, and I think Brian Flores is going to do the same as well. So that's why I'm saying 4-12, and the Dolphins finish in last place in the AFC East. So that's going to wrap it up for the AFC East preview. We're going to drop this at 5 o'clock tonight on Facebook. I really appreciate the support for the NFC West preview last Thursday. Got a ton of likes on Facebook. Continue to like this. This will be dropped at 5 o'clock tonight on Facebook. So be sure to be watching it at 5 o'clock tomorrow. And we'll be back tomorrow. We'll be doing 2 of them tomorrow. I'll be here doing the NFC South preview tomorrow, and I'll be here doing the well-awaited NFC North preview tomorrow, and I'll be dropping those during the day tomorrow as well. So have a great day, everyone, and hope you enjoy the AFC East preview tonight.